if you have a pet in your life that has issues like pain or tension in the shoulder joint or the side of the shoulder, or really anywhere in the front leg, you need this acupressure point in your life. This point is amazing for helping with acute injuries, like maybe the dog hurt his paw or the cat has an injury to the shoulder joint itself. It can also really help with chronic issues like shoulder dysplasia or elbow arthritis. So this point is fabulous for animal body workers to have in their toolbox to help with animals in their sessions, as well as maybe you're a dog trainer or a pet groomer or any kind of shelter worker that works with pets and you want to help the animals in your care just feel great. And if you are someone who just has animals at home and you want to help your own animals, that works too, because this point is safe and easy to do. We're going to show you exactly how to find and activate it. But before we dive into all of that good stuff, I want to let you know that at the end, we're going to have a special tip. This is going to be specifically aimed at people that are working with animals that can be sensitive or reactive. And you're gonna wanna know this tip because it really, really helps. Also, we're going to be telling you how to get the free PDF that goes along with this presentation because it will give you nice big pictures of the point on horses and dogs and cats. You're gonna want to have that download. So listen up so that we can share it with you. So what is this point that I'm so excited about today? This point is called small intestine 9 traditionally, but in elemental acupressure, we tend to call it supple shoulder. And that's because it really benefits the shoulder and the front leg. So not only do you have nice supple muscles, but you have beautiful supple movement. It's fabulous for keeping all of that front leg moving beautifully. Let's take a look at all of the kinds of conditions we might consider using this point for. So the first on the list might be pain in the front leg, like limping or stiff movement, or kind of just any kind of restriction in beautiful supple movement. We also might take a look at it if you know that there's an injury or an open wound, for example, in the front leg, including, like a paw injury or a joint injury. Absolutely great for helping with that. It's also used for arthritis or other chronic conditions in the front leg, especially with that shoulder and elbow joints because it's in that region. And we also use it for soft tissue issues, including sprains and strains and even just tension in the muscles of the triceps region. And finally, another great reason to pull this point into use is if you're in a rehab process. So you've had an injury, you've seen the practitioners, they're helping you with various rehabilitation protocols, and you can add this to your rehab protocol to just speed up the process and make that animal really have an optimized result. Now, of course, for any of these conditions, we have a vet first policy. We know that if your pet is having any kind of medical condition, you see the vet first to rule out more serious things. You want to make sure that they are getting the proper medical care. So that's your first step. But once you get the diagnosis from your vet and maybe a prognosis and a protocol for how to help that pet kind of come to the other side with this condition, then you can ask if this acupressure point can be part of the healing protocol that they recommend. Now, remember that this is a specialty tool. A lot of the acupressure points that we love sharing here on this channel will have a really broad application. They may help with emotional issues or behavioral issues, as well as internal organ issues, along with kind of movement or biomechanical things. This point, supple shoulder, is really mostly for biomechanical or structural issues in the shoulder or forelimb. But we still love it because although its focus is more targeted, it's still so powerful for these common issues that we love using it as a tool. Now, one thing that we also want to make sure that you know is that if you've looked at the horse video in this series, you'll know that a lot of horses carry incredible levels of muscle tension at this point, and they can be pretty reactive to it. And this is because this point is a test point, which means if you press on this point and you get kind of that pain reaction or kind of bracing against you, it's telling you that there's something brewing in the shoulder or somewhere along the forelimb. Now, pets tend to have a little bit less tension held at this point, so we're not looking for that same level of response. Even small indications of pain or discomfort or bracing at this point can let you know that this point is absolutely worth working with. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're balancing the differences between the horses in your life and the pets. Once the vet has given you the green light to go forward with this point, you're going to want to know where the heck it is so that you can find it and activate it. And this brings up something that's a little interesting and special about this point. This point does not have just one location. We actually identify two options. You have alternatives so that you can see which location the animal responds to best. Now, this is not uncommon. There are quite a few points in the body where we encourage you to look for a region of influence. This is a concept that was described by master Japanese acupuncturist Shudo Denmai, and he talked about how the point on the body is not really so much a pinprick in space. It's not something you could put on an anatomical chart and say it is always here and only here. So many points that have larger energy, and this one definitely qualifies, actually has this kind of broader space on the body that you can touch and activate in order to get the best results for the animal that you're working with. So what we love to do is to look and kind of test out a couple of these locations to see which the animal gives you that sign that, yes, this is the point for this animal for this session. So they're fairly close together, but at the same time, you are going to want to test them. And this allows you to really optimize your session instead of getting stuck on what a book tells you to do, and instead let the animal guide your work. The nice thing is, when you get that free PDF that has all the pictures of our point locations on horses and dogs and cats, we are going to be sure to show you your options. So that link is down in the description box, and make sure that before you leave this page, you are getting that PDF for yourself so you can have it in your records. What I love is that you'll be able to take that PDF, either print it out or maybe look on your phone or something like that while you're sitting on the couch with your cat or your dog, or maybe you're in professional practice with this animal, and you'll be able to really get some guidance about exactly where this point lies, either the one that's my favorite or maybe that alternative location. Now that you know that there's a couple of options in your toolbox for this point location, we have to actually tell you how to find it. This point is actually lying on the side of your pet's shoulder. And again, the photos will be in that PDF that you're going to want to get. But there is a special technique that we use that we call the butterfly hand technique that's going to make finding the point super easy. So all you're going to have to do is to put your hands in this butterfly position and cup your hand around the point of the animal's elbow and then around the front of the front leg. Now, of course, if you have a Chihuahua, it's going to be a very small space. Those legs are really small and fine. If you have a giant dog breed, you'll have your hands a little bit wider. That's obvious. But in any case, you're going to just snug that hand around the point of the elbow and around the front of the leg. Reach your thumbs to the center to find the center of the foreleg. You're still at this point on the front leg. And then you're going to take those thumbs and you're going to gently go and slide them up onto the side of the shoulder. You're going to usually, for most animals, you're going to be going above the humerus, and that is the bone that is lying in between the shoulder and the elbow joint. And you'll sometimes feel that kind of beneath the muscles, sometimes not. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. But in any case, you're just going to slide that thumb up until you feel like, oh, here's a bit of a dip. That is your point, or at least the first one. If the animal is responding and that feels like the right place to be, you can stay right there. It's all good. But if you want to try the second location, super easy. Get in that butterfly position, slide up to what feels like the first place on the side of the shoulder that you can kind of fall into, then just go up a little bit more. Now, the trick with this is to stay in between the level of the shoulder, so that from the point of shoulder and the elbow joint itself. And depending on the size of the dog or the cat, obviously it's going to be a larger or smaller space, but stay on the side of the shoulder there and you will be fine. And again, if that sounds confusing, as soon as you get over to that PDF, you're going to see exactly where it lies. We've got tons of photos in there, both just showing the point itself as well as that butterfly hand technique. Once you've found the point, you just have to activate it. And that's actually the easiest part of all. Because if your hand is there on the point after finding it from the butterfly hand technique, you just have to hang out there anywhere from even as short as 15 seconds all the way up to a minute or two. Just let the animal guide you in how long feels good for them and how long feels good for you. If the animal is just happy and relaxed, stay for a while. Whereas if they kind of are done and they maybe even get up and go away, you're done. It's totally fine. That is how acupressure works, is you allow your animal to guide your session. Now, if you want more tips about how to do the acupressure techniques, it's super simple. But if you want more information, make sure you use the resources down in the links below, and we will absolutely give you all sorts of additional acupressure techniques. But you really can keep it as simple as finding that point, getting your fingertips on that shoulder, and just staying there for maybe 30 seconds to 45 seconds as you're taking nice, deep breaths. Now, we've given you some tips on how to find the point and activate it, but some of the animals in your care, because this is a test point for pain in the front leg, may actually have some reaction here, in which case they may not be receptive to you actually doing hands-on acupressure on this point. Which is why I wanted to tell you this special tip that is here for those of you that want to give really gentle and subtle activation of the point to their animal so as not to have them bracing against them or causing any kind of pain whatsoever. This is a technique that we here at Elemental Acupressure call No Pressure Acupressure. And that's because it's so easy that it's kind of pressure, but it's also because we actually don't use any physical contact or pressure at the point at all. The only thing that you have to do is exchange the energetic aspect of your touch, not the contact itself. So normally when you touch the body, you are exchanging your touch, obviously a little bit of pressure in that contact, but also your energetic exchange at the point. For No Pressure Acupressure, what we're doing is actually removing our contact from the body. So either hovering over the body or standing at a distance. And that way we actually just direct energy to the point. Now, I know for some of you that's going to stretch your mind a little bit and you'll think, how can that actually work? But let me tell you, we have used this again and again and again with animals across the globe, and it works beautifully. Any of you who have used Reiki will recognize that energetic work is really effective, and I really encourage any of you to try it if the animals in your care are reactive at that point. Again, you can just hover over the point or work at a distance. It doesn't really matter. Proximity is not what makes it works. It's the energy. So that is our no pressure acupressure hack in case you really want to try an alternative way of activating the point. So now that you know all about supple shoulder or small intestine 9, it's time to get your hands in action and do it with the animals in your life. Now remember, we have all of these resources here for you to make it super easy. Not only do we have the description of the techniques here in this video, but we also have that free PDF that is in the description box. There's a nice easy link and one click and it's yours. But that's not it. We've also created a short video for you that will show me demonstrating this point on a dog. So you can really see that butterfly hand technique in action. Plus, in the description box, we also have other acupressure tips and all sorts of other stuff that you'll not want to miss. But before you go, I'd love to know how you plan to use this point. Maybe you have a pet that's been leaping after a ball or jumping off of the cat tree, and they are just a little tight in the shoulder and they need a little support. And this point is going to be great for them. But tell me about it, because I would love to know how it works for you and the pets in your life.